So again, that was only set for discussion, so we'll move on to city council member reports, starting with the council member Boomgarden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple of comments and then attendance. Tonight, we've spent a lot of time in this council chambers talking about issues involving the city's budget. And I think that again, I'm going to commend staff for their the budget workshop, Public Works for their road presentation, and the attendance at the Goals and Vision with a good cross-section of staff to discuss not only what kept them up at night as they are charged with leading their departments, but also listening to what this city council considers its priorities. As the mayor spoke early, we have not finalized those priorities as of yet. That process is underway. But those will be used to help guide the city as it moves forward with its development of its budget. Everybody on this council is painfully aware of what the unfunded liabilities concern is. My opinion is not too much else matters other than dealing with the unfunded liability, because eventually it's going to bleed the money from the city. But that's going to take cooperation not only from city staff, the public, but also our employees. They have a stake in this. And as we consider a committee, I think it's important to have representatives from our employees as well. My comment on that. I'm sharing a couple concerns I shared with our interim city manager in our weekly meeting. One of those was taking a look at accessory dwelling units and the impact they may have in regards to some housing, low-income housing and housing challenges. It appears that our current governor is going to hook or attempt to hook some funding from the gas tax to housing. Accessory dwelling units, I'll give you an example that was relayed to me, and this is no disrespect meant to staff. But a individual went to our city, wanted to build an accessory dwelling units, and if you don't know what those are, sometimes they're referred to as a granny flat, or it's just a smaller dwelling unit that can be placed on property. This individual was told that the fees, if he developed a certain type of accessory dwelling unit, would be $1,100, but if he decided to go ahead and put in the things that are necessary for life in an accessory dwelling unit, kitchens, plumbing, etc., those fees jump to $34,000. So as a city, there are other, this is something I feel that we need to begin to address. I know that staff has had that on their radar before, and it's my recommendation that we step that up a bit. It may be one means of helping to deal with the housing issue. The second issue I have is probably going to be unpopular, but I'm also sharing this with the council. I'm concerned as we continue to go into this budget process about some of the expenditures, and particularly I mentioned this to the interim city manager, and I'm sharing it with the council so there's full disclosure, is out-of-state travel for some of our employees. I'm not here to suggest that it shouldn't happen. I just think we need to take a hard look as we commit public funds for people to go to certain things. I certainly went to conferences as a city employee. I certainly send people to conferences as a private sector. I know the value of that. I just want to make sure that as I stand here in front of the public that elected me, that when we're sending people to things, we're getting our bang for the buck, and that they don't turn into trips. Attended the budget workshop and goals. I've expanded on that. I'm sure my colleagues will as well. Good session. The real stuff was up there, and accolades to the staff for paying attention to what's happening in our community and the things that they feel they need to do to try to continue to deliver the services they deliver. I attended the Sutter Buttes Flood Control Agency meeting. As you may know, there's still a couple projects out there for the Sutter Buttes flood control. and that I am continually impressed as I've become more involved with that committee or that commission about what they're accomplished and what they have accomplished. I sleep better at night knowing the things that they've improved. Went to the Buckeye Festival. I had been to the Buckeye Festival, but I hadn't attended some of the things I did. Super cultural event, and to the extent that we can continue to support our neighbors in Marysville, I think that's awesome. And that is all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. Go ahead.
I attended the Buckeye Parade, and that was a really interesting opportunity. And that's all I'm going to report tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since last time we met, of course, we had the Goals and Priorities Workshop, and I want accolades to our staff. Great job. Thanks for taking the time over the past couple of months to really dive down into a lot of the numbers and everything. Feedback I had from people at the workshop was largest numbers we've ever seen. People felt engaged, and it had a completely different feel than any one and of the previous ones he's done. It was all positive. So echoing Councilman Baumgarten, we got some tough decisions ahead of us with the budget, and we're going to be looking at it, and we do have to take a look at all expenditures. He's brought up out-of-state travel. We're going to be looking across the board, and when we're looking at potentially asking more of people, I don't want people to be concerned that we're talking about getting rid of people. We've got to look at as I call it, the fluff in the budget, whatever that may be. In the military, they called it doing more with less. And that doesn't mean people. That means just working through things. We got to find where the money is here and where the money is there. And we've got some tough issues to take care of. And I look forward to working with all of you guys. Thank you for representing the council to my fellow members at Buckeye. I was unfortunately unable to be there as I was supporting my daughter at her last year of college rodeo. So that's all I did this past week. And I'll turn it to Vice Mayor.
All right. I'll be quick as I can. We'll start with chamber events. Attended the monthly ambassadors meeting. We had a ribbon cutting this last Saturday for Lucky Clover Design. We have a new interior decorating business in our community. For meetings, attended the Regional Housing Authority, our Bi-County Homeless Strategic Planning, Sutter Beach Flood Control with Mayor and Councilman Baumgarten, LAFCO, Gilsizer. I'm on the Community Memorial Museum Association, and of course the Goals and Priorities. For community and city events, everything Buckeye. The parade, the reception for Whimsy Lynn, the 2019 hostess, the Hop Sing annual dinner, and of course we had a reception at Frank M. Booth. Everything St. Patty's Day. Had the dinner at the Senior Center. It was a wonderful time with the mayor and Councilmember Espandola. Doza. Sibling Gallagher's dinner, the Forever River Democratic Club's dinner, and attended the Yuba City Brewfest, sponsored by the 2030 Club. The Spring Fling was a wonderful time, supporting the Ag Education Foundation. The mayor and I attended the Yuba City Downtown Welcome Paradise. It was a wonderful night for welcoming the folks from Paradise in the community. It was a wonderful night. Band, mayor gave a speech. Attended retirement lunch for one of Yuba City Police Department's finest, Detective Todd Wolf. Did 12 years of service. He's retired and on his way to have a fun life. And of course, last night, meet the mayor. Had a great turnout last night. And in closing, I want to talk about comments have been made about Yuba City not being business friendly. And I attended the ribbon cutting Saturday for Lucky Clover Design. And they had a niche, last minute thing. They needed to get their sign up on their building. It was a last minute type thing. And I want to especially thank Development Services, Darren Gell and his staff. They came in on a Monday and they were hanging the sign on a Thursday. So if that's not a great example of business friendly. I really can't tell you what it wouldn't be. But I want to thank the staff and Darren for. It was a great day. They had a grand opening and a ribbon cutting the same day, and they just was wonderful at the city and how the city treated them and another business in our community to help us. And with that, that's it.
So I apologize for missing last meeting. Went on vacation and either ate or drank something and with several other friends who are now very good friends. If you go through that with somebody, I tell you what. But anyway, so that was interesting. Meeting down at SACOG, it continues to be a regional effort. We are on the list of projects, specifically in Bridge Street, part of the Green Means Go initiative. I am also going to be meeting with the executive director of SACOG. I have the dates in my calendar somewhere, but he's going to come up for another meeting and a tour of Yuba City and projects and things we would like to do here regionally. I also attended the Peace Officer of the Year dinner and was happy to be part of the honoring Officer Jeff Whitener, the Yuba City PD, our Officer of the Year. Done a great job this year. It was a very well-attended event, and it's always a pleasure to be a part of that. We are moving forward on what we're called the mentorship program I've mentioned before. We've called it Launch, and even though I've been a part of forming it, I can't recall what the acronym stands for. But the point is to connect responsible adults in our community with youth who have been identified as at risk. And they will be meeting, I believe it's once a week for an hour, hour and a half to provide guidance and mentorship to those young people, the details of which are still in progress, but it's on the verge of being implemented, launched, if you will. We have the push cards to be going to be sent to the printer soon, so some of you may be hit up to be part of that. Right, Phil? You want to do that? Yeah, all right, good. Attended Buckeye events, as already been stated. Wonderful time, always a good time of the year, fun time, very cultural experience, and it's very nice to see that continue to be successful. It did not rain. It may be sprinkled off and on, but it did not rain, as tradition still holds true. Goals and priorities session, I think it was quite productive. We as a group, entity of 5, still progress daily is in our interactions and our priorities and our goals and whatnot. If we get to mesh into one body, that takes time, and I think we're progressing every day. And I appreciate the hard work in everybody and the candid opinions and the respectful dialogue that occurs. Attended Farm Bureau dinner, and then of course the Meet the Mayor event last night was the first one that we've put together, and George is not here, but Darren is. Both of those gentlemen put a lot of effort into planning that. Elaine, thank you for attending. Did you enjoy it? Very good. And well, then we better do it.
Nothing new there.
Yeah. What else is new? What I also appreciate, you guys staying here all night long. You don't have to be here. Thank you for that. And we're going to close session here in a second. But the Meet the Mayor thing was all along, it's like I mentioned, with Coffee with the Cop. And our Yuba City PD does count me in for coffee. And the point is to provide a platform for back and forth dialogue between the citizens and us. And I think it was quite successful. Yeah, I'm looking forward to many more as well. I've got some other ideas outside the box stuff that we might be able to implement to increase that knowledge in both directions and just continue with the dialogue. And this committee we're forming, Phil, thank you again for the suggestion. Looking forward to seeing that progress. Timelines aside and the challenges and the opinions on that, let's make it count, and let's. I'm really hoping to come up with some or hear some ideas that they come up with, and I appreciate the willingness to be a part of it, and I appreciate the fact, again, you guys still hitting here after 10 o'clock at night to be part of your city, and I too wish it was more full, but the fact that you're here, I just want to make a point of saying that. I think that's awesome, and please continue to do so. All right. So with that being said, if we don't have anything else, we will go ahead and adjourn back into closed session.